Alright, sup guys, this is Arturo Sanchez, and we're here doing another Beast Coast video, and this time, once again, we're delving into the world of Street Fighter V. We're going to be covering the recent patch note changes and the Red Bull Kumite results. So, first thing I'm going to go through here, reading through this PDF, there were alterations done to V-Shift, and, for those of you guys that might be new to Street Fighter V, or just new to the series in general, V-Shift is a pretty interesting mechanic. So V-Shift allows you to do a parry at the exact moment the opponent attacks you. And if you time your V-Shift correctly, you can actually do a counterattack. However, it can go the opposite direction. If the opponent reads your V-Shift, you can pretty much punish them, right? So V-Shift was definitely kind of powerful, and it was definitely like a change in the meta. So they have changed the V-Shift a little bit, right? So they've changed it. So now any move that grants invincibility or armor frame 1, or low risk or high return moves invincible to throws have been adjusted to have less effective throw invincibility. So it's gonna be pretty good. This is gonna be pretty good for V-Shift because now all these situations in which all these situations that throw invincibility are now gone, right? And it even says in the PDF here, considering V-Shift's offensive and defensive capabilities, normal throws should have enough impact to reliably handle V-Shifts. But characters with the invincible abilities mentioned above, an easy way to deal with throws as well as strikes, and it gave their defense such a strong advantage that offensive opponents struggled against. So basically what they're doing here, see what Capcom's trying to do here, they're trying to balance the offensive and defensive meta. And Street Fighter V has mostly been about pretty much straight rushdown. This is the first season we've really tried to put in a defensive mechanic in the game and try to balance it both. So it's interesting to see that Capcom is still updating. The second universal change is there's improvements to infrequently use V triggers and V skills. So obviously it's no secret, guys. Some characters were built around their V trigger straight up, while some people's V triggers are kind of meh. So this is another universal system change in which they're making some of the V skills better that needed to get buffed or nerfed, and vice versa, stuff like that. So basically they're trying to make a lot of the moves more useful. So I like that a lot. And the third note here. It says rebalancing. Some characters have been rebalanced in light of previous adjustment. We have buffed characters who are lacking in strength or were largely left alone. Characters with downward adjustments have not had their moves altered significantly. The risk and returns of moves properly balanced. This pretty much goes in line with what's said here in the patch notes, because the characters that were still top tier, they're still gonna be top tier. Guess what, guys? It's just some of the dumb stuff has been toned down a bit and adjusted, and I really like this version of the balance patch. And I'll be going through some of the biggest winners and losers in this balance patch update. The first one I'm gonna go through, no surprise, it's a hot topic since Mr. Crimson won Red Bull Kumite with all the international competition there, is Dalsum. And Dalsum's change list is relatively short, but it's actually impacts him a pretty big deal. I'll go into some of the changes. And it goes, Dalsum regularly uses his V gauge for defense, but we've noticed that his V triggers are used rather infrequently when compared to other characters. We've adjusted both Yoga Burner and Yoga Sansara to have improved performance and more regular opportunity for usage. Right? So there's only two changes here. Yoga Gale, all strains, the instant air Yoga Flame, you can now cancel it with Yoga Sansara, which is the V trigger 2. This allows for some interesting setups for sure. Because Dalsum's V trigger 2 is a pretty good mix-up tool. The only problem was getting it out. Of course you can raw activate and then just do it and then power up the orb from there. But the problem is a lot of characters, if they see the orb out there, the best thing to do is to actually walk forward and eat the small orb before it becomes big. Because if it becomes big, it's basically a problem because you can keep bouncing it across the stage almost infinitely, until it touches the opponent. So now you can do double Yoga Gale into a VT2, which allows for some amazing offense. It's some amazing offensive sequences, especially in the corner that you can pull off with this that are pretty ambiguous. The opponent won't know which way to block on. So that's definitely a huge buff to Dalsum's V trigger 2 right there. The second buff that they did to V trigger 1, it says here it extended the hitbox forward on activation. And again, this is another pretty big deal. Every Dalsum main, their route to activate V trigger 1 was typically off a medium slide into a V trigger 1. And although that's a pretty powerful tool, it was V reversal bait, and it got to the point where you're not going to do it the opponent has V gauge to defensively get them off you. Now that it extended the hitbox forward on activation, do things like stand MP, his far-reaching move into V trigger 1. It becomes a true block string, and like the opponent is there cooking, cannot V reversal. So basically, this effectively allows Dhalsim to get at least 20% gray damage free before even hitting them with the combo. So at worst, like if they're sitting there cooking, 20% more if they're blocking like your gray move. If they actually get hit, oh boy, that's like 50%, 60% plus. That's definitely like a really good change for Dhalsim. Shouts to Capcom for actually buffing. And no surprise, like, you know, Dhalsim won the Rebel over Idon from New York. So, just going over like one of the second characters that I think got really buffed. Going down to Seth. Find him here. So Seth has a pretty long change list. I'm gonna do the abridged version for you guys. So basically, his V skill 1, the tandem engine, the move that sucks you in, and he basically steals your move. It has now been reworked, so now it has less range. But the advantage of it is, if you actually hit the opponent, you can actually do like a full combo instead of just stealing their move and then throwing them away for Okizeme. So Okizeme means like able to pressure the opponent on their knockdown, right? So they've actually made some change to they've actually made a lot of changes to V skill 1. It also gives Seth V gauge even if the opponent blocks a tandem engine, which is huge because of the buffs that they've done to V trigger 2. So you can combo off the crouch light on it now, and the V trigger 2 that got a huge buff. So basically Seth, his V trigger 2 is this orb that he kind of throws around the screen, and he can control it. But the problem was in the past versions, it was really good if you hit them. But if the opponent blocked, they could just V reversal and just throw the orb away. Now what happens is, with the latest V trigger 2 patch, now when he does the orb, if you try to V reversal, it does the final explosion as if like you hit them. So basically what that means is, opponent does V reversal or tries to do an escape move, they get hit by the explosion, and you actually eat a full combo. So that basically means you have to take the mix. And that means that Seth's V trigger 2 has like huge utility now, right? So because whenever Seth has 2 bars now, it's dangerous. It's to the point where you can activate it. So these changes here, although Seth got nerfed a bit from the last patch with his dive kicks and everything, and like, you know, some damage tone downs as well as health reduction, this V trigger 2, like, it puts him back in the game. Now like he could potentially be like a top 5 character. All right, so as far as who got screwed over in this patch the most, I believe everybody's crying about Zangi. All right, so looking at Zangief's changes over here. Wow. Remove throw invincibility from Zangief's EX screw pile driver due to Zangief already having iron muscle. That's incredible. So this is basically saying here that you can throw Zangief out of his special command grab. Because, and like the philosophy behind it is, I don't know if I agree with this. He already has iron muscle. Now, iron muscle is a move where he like flexes up like this to absorb some hits, right? So you can absorb like multiple hits if you keep flexing and stuff, and you build V gauge while doing it. But it's still throwable, and like it doesn't start up like right away. There's a little bit of startup like involved in that, right? So now like his one defensive or offensive option definitely got nerfed. A little bit. They made like an adjustment to his V-shift break as well. For those of you guys who don't know, like the V-shift mechanic I was talking about, the move where you parry, there's also like a second option in which you can do a V-shift break, in which it'll knock the opponent down if it hits, but it doesn't actually do like real life. It only does gray life. Now it's saying here how the V-shift break, it only has the same pushback as muscle explosion, which is the V reversal. The V reversal, he flexes up and he's close to you. He's right next to you, so you get a mix. So this might be like a minor buff for the V-shift break, but I don't think it changes anything as far as Zangief's meta. I see this as being like a huge downside for him, just the fact that you can throw him out of his EX screw pile driver, and he was already pretty weak on wake up, right? So like this just makes it worse for him. Yeah, so those are some of the characters that I think got blessed huge in this patch, or who got downgraded, and I'm gonna be going over the rest of the characters now. So just starting with this, I'm gonna go to the Nash column, and like I said, I'm gonna do an abridged version of these notes because like I can talk about this for hours. So Nash, TLDR, he's a real character. Like, ever since season 1, like he definitely got nerfed, and people were like wondering, is Nash the worst in the game? Like, and he basically was the worst in the game for several seasons. Now with this, it's like Capcom finally did him justice. He's not necessarily back to his old glory, but he's definitely viable now. They have made standing LK better. They have made crouching MK better. Like basically made his pokes better. They made his jumping Sobot better. That's like his overhead flip kick or his forward medium kick. They've made it all better. It basically made every move better and have more damage and more Okizeme. So TLDR is watch out for Nash players. Like take him seriously. It's no longer a free win. You guys actually have to learn the matchup. So next character, Cammy. So Cammy is a hot topic. She was winning all the events. Capcom Pro Tour Season 5. So far there are 3 Cammys that qualified for Capcom. So people are definitely looking for some adjustments here. But looking at this, looking at the change list here, she might have went from top 1 to like maybe top 1 still. We don't know for sure. But in the last patch, like she was arguably probably top 1. So they have done changes to her Spiral Arrow, Cannon Strike, V Trigger, and Trigger Hooligan. So EX Spiral Arrow, it no longer has projectile invincibility on frame 1. This is kind of huge as Cammy in the last version, she received a buff to her EX Cannon Drill to allow her to cancel into V Trigger, which was pretty strong. You could do like a move that goes through projectile and then cancel into V Trigger for even more offense. So now the projectile invincible timing is on the 4th frame, which means like it's a little bit easier to meteor her with Fireball. And I agree with that change. Like she was definitely blessed with everything in the last patch. That definitely needed to go. EX Cannon Strike, which is her air Spiral Arrow, which jumps down at you. It's basically like a dive kick, kind of like Dawson. They increased the recovery time on whiff from 13 frames to 17. So this is a game changer, but only if you miss. If you miss, you now have a chance to punish it. Whereas before, even if you missed, it's like she would still be able to block, and it'd be like, okay, whatever. She wasn't even relevant to the V-Shift meta. So because there's increased recovery time, not only is it easier to punish on whiff, it's going to be easier to V-Shift as well. So she actually has to respect the in-game meta now, which is good. V-Trigger 1 Cannon Strike, they increased the recovery. They increased the recovery time on whiff as well. So that's basically like the enhanced version of her air EX dive kick, right? More or less in V-Trigger 1. So that actually like has some whiff time, and that's really important because the Cannon Strike was plus on block. Not only was it plus on block, it also side switched and it ignored V-Shift. So these are changes that need to happen while still making it powerful. Same for the V-Trigger 1 Cannon Strike Hooligan combination version. So Cammy is like a move where she jumps at you, spins, and does like a grab that you can't block. Now, if you actually make it whiff, the recovery on it has actually doubled from 9 frames to 17. Now you can punish her even harder, but I still think she's top tier. So GG's Capcom. Alright, so going to the rest of the list here. Birdie seems relatively unchanged except for bug fixes. Ken is definitely very dangerous here. They've done some changes to his crush counter system. Now standing HK, if you get a crush counter on it, like it's easier to get combos. Crouching MP has reduced hitback, so it's easier to combo things. Crouching HP now has more frame advantage on hit, and if you get a crush counter with it, which is highly possible, easier to juggle and sped up the cancel timing and everything. Crouching MK here is also a huge change. They reduced the hitback on it. That means it's easier to hit confirm, and it means that you have to watch out for your legs against fighting Ken, because reduce the hitback means that if you block it, you're still in range of another CMK. And a lot of people try to walk back from pressure in this game because they want to avoid throws. So the fact that this crouching MK is better is a huge buff to his offensive game. They've also buffed his Tatsu, his Hurricane Kick. They've actually made the second part of the move do more damage if it doesn't hit you for whatever reason. A multi-hitting move actually increase the damage there. And for the heavy Shoryuken, the famous Shoryuken move, they've actually extended the hitbox forward. So now this goes through projectiles and stuff, and it hits it a lot more. Which is basically Ken's going to be on the up and up. Nakali here, doesn't really seem like they've changed him too much. He still pretty much plays the same this is a character that's kind of been invisible in the current meta, and I don't think he's terrible or anything, but like I don't think these adjustments do change the character in any crazy way. So it's like they basically done changes to the V Trigger 1 to allow for more combos. The V Trigger 1 is a used to be an infinite V Trigger, right, until they made some changes to it in season 5, and they've also made changes to the V Trigger 2 to make things easier to combo. So it's basically like some minor adjustments, nothing crazy. Vega only really has minor changes here. These are mostly just like bug fixes, right, and improvements to the input system. Nothing too crazy here. Going over to Armika. Armika actually got some buffs. So she was one of the characters that did not benefit from V Shift really. She's a grappling character that locks you down a lot. So V Shift definitely hurt her, right? Like she was one of the characters that definitely went down in the current meta. But these changes definitely make her relevant. They've made jumping MP have more juggle properties, so it's easier to juggle off of. If she has issue with her air-to-air jump MP, she can actually do some follow-ups now, and has better Okizeme. They've also made some changes here to her V Trigger 2. So Mika has a 3-bar V Trigger, in which like her partner Desco comes out, kind of like WWE style, and just throws the chair at you, really wrestling style. They've made some changes here to her V Trigger 2. Make it better on offense, and now she has 2 activations off of it. Now she has 2 chances to make you off a 3-bar V Trigger. So now this V Trigger has now become relevant. They've also made some adjustments to her parry. So she has like a move in which if you throw a normal at her, she just parries it and clotheslines you. They've made some adjustments here to make it so that it's easier to land. I feel like Mika definitely went up in the meta a little bit, for sure. Rashid, no changes for bug fixes. Laura has some adjustments. So with the bolt charge, the thunder strike, they increased the combo count limit, so it's a little bit easier to combo off of it. Same for the heavy bolt charge as well as the EX bolt charge. So it seems like she definitely got some buster combos, although I didn't necessarily see Idom do it. And it looks like they're trying to do things here to make V Trigger 2 relevant, because V Trigger 2 it's kind of like a troll V Trigger. It's like, she activates off of it. She can do like a sidestep, kind of like King of Fighters SNK style, when she dodges your move and then counter grapples you with a grab and then goes into a combo. So they did some changes to V Trigger 2 here that I have yet to see, since I haven't seen Idom implemented into his game. But I'm looking forward to see what comes in the future. F.A.N.G has basically like one change here, right? And this probably a game change for him. So F.A.N.G players have always complained about how you can't really combo off of his lights. This entire thing right here, this entire paragraph is basically telling you like, yes, you can now combo off his lights, right? Which definitely definitely helpful for the character. Like he was pretty annoying. Would kind of shave your life away with the poison mechanic and gray health, and just really be annoying, and then you get frustrated and kind of die. But now that he has confirms off lights, hopefully allows him to upgrade his offense. Alex. Going through Alex, only minor bug fix changes. Ibuki, let's see. So Ibuki has been, oh wow. So they made her V skill 2 better. The V skill 2, it's like she kind of throws like a spike on the ground, right? Like in neutral. Spike appears in front of her, and she knocks you down. She can basically knock you down, throw the spike, and go for a left-right mix-up with her command dash. So they've increased the V gauge gain on this move from 40 to 60. So it basically means like, hey, like, if you hit with it, you're gonna get more V meter as a result. Allows you to come back even easier. So so V Trigger 1 also got buffed as well. So V Trigger 1 is the V Trigger where she throws out the bomb on activation, and then like when the bomb explodes, you can do like a left-right mix-up. So it seems like with her activation, the actual activation sequence, when she throws the bomb, it has more frame advantage. So she does it on block. It's like you're in a mix-up basically. Whereas before, you can kind of V reversal and like not really have to deal with the mix-up. This makes the V Trigger 1 better, in which you have to deal with the mix-up. Next character, Balrog. Balrog definitely got some adjustments, but it's nothing that really. I don't think it's anything that really is going to affect high level players. They basically did they basically nerfed his forward throw. So Boxer had a throw situation in the corner, in which if he would forward throw you, and dash, he was only at a -1 on the forward dash. And what this means is your character with a slow jab, your character with like a 4-frame jab, and Boxer dashes in your face with a -1. That means if he presses his light button, which is 3 frames, versus a 4-frame character, you'll trade. So that's a big problem, because if he dashes in your face and it gets you to commit to a low jab, he can actually crush counter you with a heavy, and you just get looped to death over and over again. So they have made it -2 on block now instead of -1. So it's not like a total nerf to his offense in the corner. It just means that like he'll still be able to melee you, but he doesn't get to loop you like basically for free. And they've also done some changes to his dash straight. So now for the medium and heavy version, they have decreased the pushback, making it easier to punish. If you guys don't know, is dash straight, this move, they have decreased it from, they changed it from -6 on block to -4 on block. So that means some characters had real difficulty punishing them. And now with this, it's like now you have a chance to, but the move is still -4, and the jab version has unchanged pushback. Still gonna have trouble punishing this. Just going through Urien, so he had some changes, but it's nothing crazy. Like I still think he's top tier. They basically so the nerfs that they did to him, they basically nerfed crouch MK a little bit, but only on whiff. It was a pretty dominant move. You'd activate to his V trigger a lot. They've extended the recovery time from 17 to 21 frames. All right, so now if you whiff it, you have a good chance at whiff punishing it, and it has extended hurt box, so you can really do some damage to him. His headbutt, like now his headbutt, the regular version, it's an airborne move, but so that means it would go over throws. So if you try to knock him down, trying to do like immediate throw pressure, you just wake up into headbutt. Now like they've changed the mid-air hitbox time from 3 frames to 4 frames. So now like you have a chance to throw him. It just makes it like he has things like a little bit more on offense. They've also done some adjustments to an EX Chariot tackle. The EX Chariot tackle, which is like the flashing EX shoulder, which you'd commonly see into a V trigger, they've actually decreased the pushback between the first and second hit. So he's still safe, but now if you block it, he's right in your face where he doesn't want to be. And he does not have like a 3-frame normal or like and the headbutt does not have instant startup to get them off of you. So he's definitely got to think a little bit, but still think he's top tier. Okay, so Akuma's changes. Akuma definitely had some changes to his hitboxes and hurt boxes here. He definitely got buffed, especially in the V Trigger 2 scenarios. He definitely has more juggle opportunities off V Trigger 2 and has better routes off V Trigger 2 in general. They've also done some adjustments to his hurricane kick to like hit more at like max situation. It seems like it's only good for Akuma here, since I don't necessarily think he was top tier in the last version, and like Capcom realized that and gave him some buffs. So KOLIN has pretty significant changes as well. She was definitely nerfed a little bit in the last patch. They did some adjustments to her V Trigger 2, but you couldn't spam like infinite normals forever while her V bar did not go down. So they definitely buffed her here, and it seems like the most significant change is to the V Trigger 1 special move Diamond Dust. So her V Trigger 1, she would do like a stomp, which icicles would come up across the screen and then just kind of freeze you. If they hit you, they put you in a freeze state in which you can't move, right, and get additional juggle. Now she can do like that same move in which she does a stomp, the icicles come out, but then she can command dash while the icicles are making block. So now you have to guess, and now you get a second activation as well, which makes it even better. So I think it's definitely really gotten good for KOLIN players in this meta. Still gonna be a relevant character. Abigail, yeah, it's a hot topic kind of a character. Like, he definitely needed some nerfs, and I'm glad to see the nerfs here. His health got decreased by 25 points. He had 1100 health, went down from 1100 to 1075. And basically all these adjustments here, these are just like hitbox and our hurt box adjustments to make it easier to anti-air him. One of the biggest changes here that I've noticed, like, just going through this list, is that his EX Dynamite punch. So Abigail would have a move where you'd be armored, running at you, and you do like a punch, right? And it led to like huge damage and follow-up. They've actually improved the recovery time. Well, I'm sorry, nerfed the recovery time on whiff. So if he happens to whiff that move, you can get like a fat punish, which is really nice. Definitely seems to be like a bunch of nerfs here. The only buff that I saw he got was to his spare tire. So this is scary because his spare tire is a move where like you be behind him, and you call it like a tire, like out of nowhere. It'd be rolling at you. It'd be rolling at you, and then it would just bounce, and you could just hit it. You could just hit it at the opponent, and then it wouldn't go away. It would keep juggling, and if you switch sides, you can actually make it go in the other direction and stuff. So they've actually reduced the stardom of this. So you're gonna be seeing more tire shenanigans, even though got nerfed. But not just only like bug fixes. Sakura got some buffs. So Sakura has a situation in the game where she will basically jump at you, and then she can cancel into like a dive kick or a command grab, right? And like it was pretty gimmicky. But now they've made it so that they've sped up the timing for triggering successive attacks by 5 frames. So that basically means like she can do like a fireball and cancel into a special jump, and just basically set up her offense easier. So she definitely got some good changes here. Blanka definitely got some changes here as well that helped him. Crouching HP, reduced knockback distance on crush counter, probably means you get additional follow-up juggles. They've done some changes to the V trigger 1. They've lowered the combo count start value. It's probably easier here to juggle. They've definitely made some changes to the move as well. Now the trigger 1 basically he just kind of just sits in place and like rolls around like being Blanka, doing a Blanka ball. And now they made it so that if you're near him, easier for him to hit you. So Blanka's definitely like a shenanigans kind of character, and a way to not looking forward to seeing more Blanka. It's like he's pretty random at times, but yeah. The next change I want to talk about is FALKE. FALKE is actually my secondary in Street Fighter V. I would have liked to see more buffs here, but it seems like she only got 1 buff, which is the Psycho Mine, V skill 2. The V gauge gain went from 60 to 100, and that's pretty significant because false V triggers, they're not the best, but she kind of needs them in certain scenarios. So basically her V skill 2 is she sets up. It's a little bit complicated. She basically blows like a mine, right? She can either blow it in front of her head, below, and she can either have it stationary or moving at you, and the opponent can't hit it, right? But it'll either explode in like a couple of seconds, or you can actually activate it using like any of your psycho power, right? And it's pretty plus on block if you do. So yeah, like if you, it basically makes like her offense like a little bit better. Nothing game changing for the character, but it definitely helps. Let's see. So CODY, he definitely got blessed in the last patch, and like he got like some minor changes here that are really gonna help him. They shortened the startup of the V trigger 1 crouching LP from 5 frames to 4 frames. The V trigger 1 code from CODY, it basically like he basically has a knife. Like he's basically like a Street Fighter, right? Like he's like a common thug, right? Basically goes from having like just punches, just having like a knife. So he's just like stabbing you up. Actually made it faster by 1 frame. It can stab you up even better. Probably gets like an improved pressure. Probably gets like improved combos for me. And the V trigger 1, they've actually reduced the recovery time. The rapid fire, I believe, like CODY goes at his knife and he does like a crazy combo. It definitely made that better. It's looking good for CODY players. G, so going through G here, he kind of got normalized in the last patch. Like normalized as in like he's still pretty strong, but his damage was kind of ridiculous in the last version, especially when he got higher levels. But it seems like here they have made some adjustments to his presidentiality move. Basically, the way G works, like he has like a level up mechanic in which you get like a power up, and then your moves actually get better. And you can do this up to 3 levels. They've made some changes to his level 3 to make it even better. So the TLDR is you basically have access to level 2 presidentiality moves when you're at level 3 or you're level 3. Now you'd think like why not get to level 3 the whole time, right? Turns out that although level 3 does have like better moves overall in general, they do have slower startup. So having access to level 2 moves definitely makes it like a buff for him because some of those moves are faster. So now G can choose pretty much what he wants to do, and he got some buffs to his V trigger 2 as well. In terms of the explosion, like a command grab that basically does not drain as much V gauge as it did before. It's like a 25% decrease in cost of V time. So it's not a game changer for the character, but yeah, like some G buffs, I'm sure they're happy. Can't hurt. So Sagat. These are pretty much just bug fixes. they've just increased the V gauge gain on the tiger knee. So I think that's really changing too much of this game. It's giving him a chance to get more meter, and they basically increased the V gauge gain from 40 to 80. So definitely nice for him in V skill 2. Kage had like some minor buffs, but it doesn't seem anything that's game changing right here. Seems like crouching MP. There's less recovery time on whiff. Apparently, crouching MP was pretty laggy on whiff, and they've changed it so that now there is no increased recovery time on it. So definitely gonna be better throughout neutral. And they've made adjustments to his other special moves to give them slightly more super gain. So if you get the offense going, it'll be easier to keep the offense going more or less. Honda got some nerfs here. Basically the only change that they've done here, they've increased the combo count limit of the first attack. So TLDR, like some of his corner combos got nerfed basically. Still the same character pretty much, just like some combo opportunities are going to be limited here. They feel like Honda was pretty strong, but I still think overall same character. It's gonna be pretty good. He's still gonna be pretty good and pretty relevant overall meta. Lucia got some interesting buffs. I actually at the time of this recording, Shine got me last tournament I played him with Lucia, and basically they made some changes to her DP. So she has like an uppercut Shoryuken type move that if you ever play Final Fight, Lucia, there's there's a move in Final Fight where you press punch and kick, and it basically does like a get off, kind of like a big spinning attack. Lucia had that as her uppercut. Problem is the hitbox behind would not really hit from behind, so it had bad tracking. They've done some changes to her tracking, definitely made it faster. It seems like they've made, I'm not too familiar with Lucia's moveset, but it seems like overall they've made everything better, and you're definitely gonna be like a character to you definitely have to learn about. You're not gonna be able to sleep on any characters in this game anymore. Stream, it's gonna be crazy. Up next is Gil. So it seems like going through these changes, he's definitely got some changes to his combo potential. So Gil is the only character in the game that doesn't have crush counter. Instead, he has a retribution mechanic. He has fire and ice, so you can change between both. You can change between both. And if he hits you with the fire, it's you're in retribution. If he hits you with the ice, then you get put into this retribution state, which is not a crush counter. Which is not a crush counter situation, but you do get increased juggle potential. So it seems like Gil here, he does have some increased juggle potential on a lot of his moves now. He has some minor bug fixes that makes him even better. So you can see here, anti-type damage now charges critical gauge. So when you're in retribution, you're basically building meter the whole time while you're juggling. And they've made adjustments to the EX Moonsault knee drop. You have invincibility to midair attacks from frames 5 to 12. Oh wow! So it's not quite a true reversal, but he actually has an option to get out of pressure. Interested to see what's coming from Gil. Dan, so if you guys didn't know, on the last version of Street Fighter V, Dan, the joke character of the game, actually had an infinite. It was actually practical. We saw it landed at a Capcom Pro Tour event. I think it was the Asia one, where it's somebody actually landed in the match. It was pretty amazing. So with the loop, to actually remove the chance of the infinite being an infinite no longer, they have now made his heavy fireball randomly. It could be 1 out of 5 times or 1 out of 10 times or whatever. It will become an enhanced fireball, which forces them to be juggled, and you will basically drop the infinite. But you don't know when it's going to happen. But if they do block it, it's plus on block. So they made some interesting changes to the fireball to remove the infinite. They've also made it some changes to the Dan kicks, and they made some changes to the V trigger 1 to make it even better on block. Wow, better on block, and it has decreased pushback. So +3 on block, if pretty close to the face. It's like you're eating a mix. All right, so Rose, she got no changes here. It's just bug fixes and patch notes. And Rose is not really, people are not feeling good about her in the meta, but I still think we need some time to figure them out. I played a couple of good Roses online, but I need to extend and sit down with her. She has only got bug fixes. All right, last but not least, we're going over the Red Bull Kumite results. So looking at these changes over here real quick. So interesting thing to note with these results. Japan was not in the finals of this event. You know, some of the best players in Japan were there. Like, you know, Bonchan got 3rd place. Tokido did not make it to the top 8 stage, which was amazing. The grand finals was Europe, you know, most notably France, Mr. Crimson, versus IDOM, the last Capcom Cup 2019 offline champion, you know, from New York, my local scene. Long story short, Crimson took it over IDOM 5-4. Bonchan got 3rd place with Sagat and Karen. Luffy, oh yeah, these are single eliminations, so they're gonna be ties. Luffy actually tied for 3rd with Mika. You know, Mika, we went through the patch, definitely relevant. The meta. Takamura, he's also a player from Europe. He got 5th with Akuma. Tied with Phenom, who got 5th with Karen and Nikali. Hurricane tied for 5th with Punk, and you know, Cammy got some nerfs. Punk lost to Mr. Crimson in the pool stage, and basically like the results for this are really interesting because first off, this was Dalsum's first time that he's won anything big in the Street Fighter V series. There's been times where he's got top 8 before or like top 2, but he's never taken on the big one. So this time, you know, Dalsum actually won the big one, and he got buffed. So it's looking good for Dalsum players out there, guys. Sure to keep blowing it up, and of course, IDOM, you know, getting 2nd place. You know, he's always really consistent. You know, he's a tough opponent. You know, he fights me at NLBC, so he knows the matchup really well, of course, with Dalsum. So the fact that Mr. Crimson to take it is a huge win for the Dalsum community, and like also looks good for the future of the character because he pretty much got buffed. This is like a pretty even spread across the board. Bonchan got 3rd. You know, Europe was definitely in there in the top 8. Actually won the tournament, so I think it goes to show that like Street Fighter V is really international. Nobody really knows what the hell's gonna happen, and like these results show that like everybody is really strong around the world. And remember, this is only an exhibition. We do not have like an open event yet, so who knows what killers are lurking or going to be coming in the future. So this is really interesting. I think Street Fighter V has like a bright future ahead. Intel World Open's coming soon. All these events are coming soon, and in the US, there's tons of tournaments out there. So you know, keep playing Street Fighter and fighting games in general. Looks like this year's going to be very promising, though we're still currently in the middle of a pandemic. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Arturo Sanchez. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow all of Beast Coast social media, as well as myself. You know, NYCFurby Twitter, FTC Sab and YouTube, Twitch, NYCFurby. Peace out.